safety of your family and pets. Commercial pest and rodent control, pre-construction soil treatment, subterranean termite control, and tent fumigation. Call Glen Barrows International Pest Control at 465-2935 or 469-5294. Glen Barrows International Pest Control, setting new standards in pest control.
With news from across the Federation, spanning the region and covering the globe, this is the KyssFM SKN News Now Morning Edition, your one true source for news. And now your presenter.
Good morning. Today is Thursday, 9th February 2017. I'm Leslie Joseph. This is the SKN News Now Morning Edition, brought to you with the kind compliments of Glen Barrows Pest Control and Guest House. These are the top stories this hour. Nationally, Ross University researchers have received a grant to study mosquito-transmitted arboviruses. Regionally, female miners in Guyana are up in arms over a new government tax. Internationally, a new president has been elected in Somalia. And in sport, bets on horse racing are booming in Thailand, a country where gambling is banned. Now for a look at the stories in detail. Researchers at Ross University School of Veterinary Medicine on St. Kitts have been awarded a grant by the National Institutes of Health, or NIH, to study mosquito-transmitted arboviruses such as chikungunya, dengue, and Zika, which have emerged as global public health threats. The study will also advance an understanding of how they may be transmitted between animals and humans. According to a Ross University statement, scientists are still unsure of how these viruses spread from their natural hosts, non-human primates in Africa and Asia, to people, resulting in epidemics around the world. The research will conduct investigations into whether African green monkeys are infected with arboviruses in the 5 ecosystems present on the island of St. Kitts, identify the mosquitoes that may be involved in the transmission of the viruses among the monkeys, and probe how the viruses spread amongst people on the island. The grant was awarded by NIH's National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. It is the first NIH grant awarded to a research team at Ross. Attorney General and Minister of Justice and Legal Affairs and Communications, Honorable Vincent Byron, has for the first time elaborated on the status of the Federation's electoral boundaries. According to Mr. Byron, under the previous Labour administration, the Boundaries Commission report was rushed to the Parliament and passed questionably.
It was just on the 16th of January, 2 years ago, that when the Constituency Boundaries Commission would have prepared a report on changing boundaries to elect representatives, that this report was rushed to Parliament and it was supposedly passed in a very abominable way. We all saw it play out where Team Unity had to rush to the Parliament and put an injunction on that boundaries report to change the existing boundaries to new boundaries. That injunction still is in place today. So that today, what we have are boundaries still representing the old boundaries.
Minister Byron went on to state that the injunction filed by the Team Unity Coalition while in opposition is a limited one. He then gave his opinion on what will likely happen when there is finally a court ruling on the validity of the disputed Boundaries Commission report, or if Team Unity decides to withdraw the injunction.
Until A case brought by Team Unity in the courts is adjudicated, is debated on, deliberated by a judge, the old boundaries are still in place. But if, on the other hand, we were to withdraw this case, new boundaries will come into place. We believe the old boundaries should be in place to allow a newly constituted Constituency Boundaries Commission to be formed and to bring in proper electoral boundaries. We expect that during the course of this year, shortly, that this case will be heard by the High Court to deal with this report. So, we require boundary changes, but they must be done properly.
Regionally, Guyana's Women Miners Association is up in arms and arguing that the government should reconsider the taxes it imposed on miners who make a living in a dangerous and sometimes even deadly field. Tracy Khan-Drakes has more.
Guyana Women Miners Association has added its voice of disapproval for the increase of tributaries tax from 10 to 20% for the mining sector. The head of the association, Eureka Primus, explained that dredge owners faced immense difficulties deducting the initial 10% in the past from their workers, noting that the addition could see a standstill in the sector.
We have outlined to all ministries, including finance and natural resources, that miners face great difficulty in implementing the 10% reduction from the miner's salary. In many cases, this has erupted in violence, or your entire fleet leaves and no other person wants to work with you, and they hear that you're subtracting the tax because they don't want it taken out from their salary. How difficult would it be now to double that amount and expect the workers to accept it?
As such, the association has begun advocating against this increase at all levels and will be meeting with President David Granger in an effort to have this increase removed. She also agreed that there is need for better financial record keeping, which she has committed to assisting with.
With regards to the increase in reporting, we have committed ourselves to working along with the Ministry of Natural Resources to reformat the production sheet, which is the only form of reporting that mining currently has, to structure it in such a way that would not be burdensome to the miners and allow them to comply with that aspect of it, because we do understand the need for increased financial reporting in mining.
Following this announced increase, miners threatened countrywide protest action. However, Minister of Natural Resources Raphael Trotman said that the tributaries tax remained unchanged since its inception in 1998. He added that this move is not an imposition but a legal obligation being fulfilled by the tax agency.
Rio de Janeiro's famed Pareza do Tuiuti puts the finishing touches on its carnival floats, celebrating Brazil's tropicalism cultural movement and icons such as samba bombshell Carmen Miranda. Samantha Varas reports.
O desafio de falar sobre o tropicalismo é mostrar para as pessoas, isso de um modo geral, como ele está no nosso cotidiano, como ele faz parte da gente, né? O tropicalismo, ele veio trazer...
On the international scene, former Prime Minister Mohamed Abdullahi Farmajo has been elected Somalia's new president after 2 rounds of voting by members of parliament. The votes were cast under heavy scrutiny after threats from the armed group Al-Shabaab prevented a general election.
The historic vote took place in a high-security compound within Mogadishu's fortified international airport. Somalia's 329 MPs and senators gathered to elect a president for the unstable state. In the first round, outgoing President Hassan Mahmoud held a slight lead over Mohamed Abdullahi Farmajo in a crowded field of 21 candidates. But Farmajo held a clear lead after the second round among the two candidates remaining, forcing Mahmoud to concede defeat.
History was made. We have taken this path to democracy. And now I want to congratulate Mohamed Abdullahi Farmajo.
With President Mahmoud's mandate already expired, the new president was quickly sworn in.
This victory belongs to the Somali people. This is the beginning of the era of unity, the democracy of Somalia, and the beginning of the fight against corruption.
Thousands of cheering Somalis quickly took to the streets of the capital in jubilation, chanting the new president's name. Cheering soldiers fired into the air. Critics say the election, the most extensive democratic exercise for decades, has encouraged corruption, partly fueled by Middle Eastern and regional powers seeking to secure victory for candidates seen as favorable to their interests. Members of parliament, however, say the election results and change in leadership vindicates the process.
The future of Somalia is very bright, and inshallah I'm hoping that, as I believe, it's how people will see it as well, and they see the change as much as I see it, and it's going to come, and so we'll be making Somalia great again.
Somalia's new president is facing huge challenges, key among them rebuilding the collapsed state institutions and a national army that has the capacity to fight Al-Shabaab fighters. He also has to deal with the massive poverty in the country. Farmajo holds dual Somali-US citizenship. He holds degrees from the State University of New York in Buffalo and was Prime Minister for 8 months before leaving the post in 2011.
There's a lot of talk in the United States about stopping Mexicans from entering the country with a border wall, but the process of sending illegal Mexican immigrants back home is also underway. Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto welcomed the first group of returned immigrants in the capital.
Peña Nieto met the group of 135 deportees at Mexico City's International Airport, where he pledged solidarity and government support.
No están solos.
You are not alone. Let the government assist you in this process of returning to your country. Some of you have been abroad for many years, others less, but don't feel abandoned.
U.S. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order to construct a border wall between the countries. And not only has he vowed to deport some 3 million undocumented Mexicans from the U.S., he said that Mexico will pay for the construction costs of the wall, comments which have angered Mexican officials. Pedro Vasquez was forced to leave his wife and 4 children behind.
No, it's scary when you have a situation like mine, and now, with the administration of President Trump, anyone who commits a crime, even if they've done time for a previous crime, and those who are illegal, the authorities are looking for them.
I will go back to the States. My wife is there. I'm the one who works. I'm the breadwinner.
According to Pew Research Center in the U.S., more than 16 million Mexicans have migrated to the United States over the past 50 years. Many now face an uncertain future. Last month, Peña Nieto canceled a visit to Washington over Trump's uncompromising stance on the issue.
And now we take a look at sports. Horse racing enjoys a dedicated following in Thailand, the thrill of the race amplified by the rare chance to gamble in a Buddhist country where betting is virtually banned.
For thousands of Thais, Sunday wouldn't be complete without a trip to the races. Horse racing arrived in Thailand in the 19th century under King Rama V. More than a century on, Bangkok's 2 tracks generate more than $1 million each race day.
The unique part is that every horse here is Thai bred. They're all bred within Thailand. So the unique point is that every horse that graces this race course is born and bred here in Thailand, and that is unique around the world.
A 2015 study by Bangkok University found that more than 1/3 of Thais regularly gamble, despite the fact that it's technically illegal here. But thanks to tradition and royal patronage, horse racing is exempt.
I look at the scoreboards, good jockeys, or the ones that I just like. Sometimes horses that I bet on for fun win by fluke.
Namsak Thepnarong is Thailand's top jockey and a favorite with the punters. He began training when he was 12 years old and says his success comes down to discipline, hard work, and concentration. But he admits that many of his peers come under pressure from owners to fix races or deliberately slow down.
Horse owners decide everything, whether to fight or to hold the horse back. For some jockeys, before they mount their horses, they have to take orders from the owners on how to race.
Horse racing has lost ground to football and boxing in recent years. In the 1990s, the clubs brought in 3 times as much money on race days. Nonetheless, dedicated fans are sure to keep coming back in search of fortune.
And that item brings us to the end of the KyssFM SKN News Now Morning Edition, brought to you with the kind compliments of Glenbarrow's Pest Control and Guest House. Join us again at 5:45 for our comprehensive evening news package. I am Leslie Joseph.